Many, if not all religions, have some form of sacrament or tradition revolved around the idea of healing and forgiveness. This healing can be either spiritual or, in some cases, physical. Although religions have some core skeletal structure of what forgiveness and suffering may entail, they can vary drastically. The two religions that I am focusing on today are Christianity and Buddhism. The basis of forgiveness in Catholicism revolves around the thought that if you sin and feel guilty, you can turn to a local priest and receive the sacrament of reconciliation. The way reconciliation works is we confess our sins to the priest, he blesses us and forgives us in the name of the Lord, and we are cleansed and have our grace returned. There are two types of sin in the Christian faith. These are venial and mortal sin. Venial sins are minor petty things that can slightly damage your grace. These can be easily forgiven in reconciliation. Now, mortal sin is the big boss. Committing mortal sin means completely severing your connection with God. There are three main factors that mean a sin is a mortal sin. These are that the sinner is of grave matter, i.e. murder, the sinner knew what they were doing was wrong and knew all of the consequences, and the sinner committed the sin with their own free will. Unless, of course, they are possessed by a demon, but that's unlikely. However, mortal sins can be forgiven through the act of penance, or reconciliation. This act will restore your connection with God. Although, if you did kill someone, you'll still have to pay the consequences of society, which probably means going to jail. Everyone on Earth has committed at least one form of sin in their lifetime. Even newborn babies are born with original sin, the evil buggers. That can be easily forgiven through baptism. Many people can commit sins when they don't actually realize they're sinning. These sins can include such things as lying or talking behind people's backs. Perhaps the reason people do not realize their sins is because they are so common and somewhat accepted in our culture today. Us Christians want to stay as loyal to God as we can, trying to sin as little as possible. The main reason for this is that the hope that we'll be allowed into heaven after death, as those who mortally sin won't be allowed into heaven, and thus will be cast into hell, and nobody wants that. However, the Buddhist beliefs are very different. Buddhists do not believe in a supreme being or deity such as us Christians believe in God, but in fact pray to Buddha, who was a very spiritual man who lived 500 years before Jesus. They also have very different views on heaven and hell, believing that they are temporary places for good and evil people to stay before they are reborn through reincarnation. What determines whether you go to heaven or hell in that short period depends on your karma. Many people know the main basis of karma. You do good things and good things happen to you. You do bad things and bad things happen to you. Which is where the common term karma's comes from. The reason that Buddha taught about karma was a way of teaching peace and forgiveness. He teaches us not to have a grudge or anger against people who have sinned against us, and to not take action, for karma will do the work for us. Buddhists also would meditate and pray very often, reflecting on their actions in order to forgive their inner selves and balance out their karma. As you've seen, the traditions revolving forgiveness and sin are very different depending on the religion. Christianity believes in mortal sin and venial sin, which can be forgiven by God and thus allow you to keep your connections with Him. However, Buddhists believe that it is not a God that determines whether you are forgiven, and instead karma, where you are rewarded for being just and punished for being bad. The placebo effect can take place with karma, for strong believers in it will actually feel and notice the bad or good things happening to them. Thank you for watching.